Helldivers, protectors of liberty, guardians of prosperity, defenders of democracy. When the universe calls, they'll be the first to dive. Damn, that's crazy. So what did you want, like a McDouble or something? Anyway, what's the crack? And welcome back, lads, to another YouTube video. It is my first main video. If you missed my first video that went up on the channel, the welcome. First of all, what are you doing? You need to subscribe right now just for missing that upload. So you may as well do that. Like the video, yeah, whatever. Get that out of the way early. Anyway, yeah, so today we're going to be doing a tier list of Helldivers 2 weapons. I absolutely love Helldivers as a game, right? Helldivers is, for those of you who don't know, I don't know why you'd click on this video if you don't, but it's a game where you drop in primary weapon, secondary weapon, stratagems, which is like airstrikes and stuff. You take out alien bugs, you take out aliens, and you take out robots, alright? Depending on which planet you go to. So basically what I'm going to be doing today is ranking all the primary weapons of Helldivers 2. Not including some, but I'll get into that. So, in today's tier list video, the tiers I have for you is Democrat's Wet Dream, Badass, Helldiver Certified, Subpar SEF Equipment, and Liberty, why? I also have an unranked section for the guns that I don't have, as previously mentioned. So, I don't have the Crisper, which is the pocket flamethrower, not the pocket flamethrower, the primary one. The A23 carbine, the tenderizer, the whatever the superstore AR is called. I didn't search it up, I don't care enough. The purifier or the cookout shotgun. I'm going to be giving my opinion on them at the end of the video whenever I'm doing the overview of it all. I'm going to do a bit of research on the YouTube videos. Maybe I'll figure out what the superstore AR is called. But I'll give you my opinions on them in the end of the video, so you better stick about for it. We're going to start off with the weapon that every Helldiver starts off with, the AR-23 Liberator, the SEAF standard assault rifle balancing power, fire rate and weight for a reliable weapon against smaller targets. This thing does 70 damage, has 45 bullets and has light armor penetrating rounds. Just because it's standard issue doesn't mean you should overlook it. It can still do some major damage. It's actually the highest damage dealer of the bunch of the ARs for light armor penetrating. Whenever it comes to AR-23, I actually prefer it against the bugs. It does major damage to them. You're able to shoot off the heads of spears quite easily and deal with the smaller enemies. So because it's a standard rifle, it's quite good, and you can tell why it's standard because it just gets the job done. So I can't think anywhere else to put this but Helldivers Certified. It's not quite in the higher echelons, but it's there. The Penetrator. And no, we're not putting your uncle on a fucking tier list. This is the AR-23P Liberator Penetrator. A modified Liberator fitted with a scope and firing armor-piercing rounds to help take down those armoured units. The Penetrator does 60 damage and has a capacity of 45 with medium penetrating rounds. This makes it very effective against Hive Guardians and against Alpha Commanders. It's also amazing against the robots, as most of them have the medium armour. You can shoot them in the face, you can shoot them in the back, whatever you want. Even Striders, you can shoot their weak points and take them out no bother. Now, I absolutely love using the Penetrator against the bugs as well, so I test them against the Terminids. See those pesky little Hive Guardians that hunker down and you can't shoot them with the regular AR-23? You can shoot them right in the face while they're hunkered down. Oh, don't shoot me, bam, right in the face, they're dead. Easy stuff, they're dead. I loved using this weapon against them because it's also very good against the Alpha Commanders. You can shoot them right in the face and do them in as well, dead instantly. You can take their head off quite easily, same with the spears, the same with the AR-23. Whenever it comes to the AR-23 Penetrator, I love the scope on it, and the recoil pattern is very nice, very easy to control. Very good weapon for that reason. The medium armor penetrating is just the icing on the cake, really. Whenever you're shooting at the heavier sort of enemies, the like the Charger and the Monarch, that type of thing, it doesn't do as much damage, obviously, because that's just how armor works. They have tier 3 armor, you have tier 2 armor penetrating, so you're not going to be able to take them out in an easy burst like you do everything else. But apart from that, the 7 magazines and everything just make this gun an all-around great gun. The mobility of the gun is also very good. It turns with you very quickly. There's no slow turning rate like there is with the later things in this list, like the Eruptor. So for all these reasons, it took a wee bit. I was really wanting to put it beside the regular Liberator in Helldivers Certified, but I just thought because the medium armor penetrator just makes it so much more versatile, I would be better putting that in Badass, making it the first Badass of the video. And then there was the concussive. The AR-23C Liberator Concussive, a modified Liberator firing concussive rounds, which do less damage but stagger enemies, 65 damage, 60 capacity, light armor penetrating. This is a gun without purpose. Why would I want to knock enemies back when I can just kill them? I can bring the penetrator, I can kill better or more armored enemies quite easier. It does a lot more damage per bullet. Why would I want to bring this concussive weapon with me? Now, folks, I'm slating this gun a lot already, but it's not that bad. It's very good for crowd control. If you're getting rushed, say at extract, there's a lot of bugs coming over a hill to get to you and try to kill you. You shoot this at them, it will knock them way back. I really like using it against stalkers as well. For example, they can sneak up on you. They can sneak up on you out of their wee caves. You just shoot them, they're way back to their cave. You can send them back down it if you want. So it's good for that type of thing. It's very one-stop shop. It's really just for one purpose and one purpose only. I wouldn't bring this gun over the Liberator, regular Liberator, or the Penetrator, to be perfectly honest with you, or even the Adjudicator, which is up next. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I can see its purpose, so for that reason, I'm not going to call it a bad gun. It's definitely not great. It probably needs a buff to damage, I would say. One of the major upshots of the gun is the drum mag. You get 65 bullets in it, which is very, very good. You can sort of just unload at a load of crowd. So for that reason, I think, to be honest with you, that's the only reason I'm not putting it in the lowest tier. So I'm going to put it in subpar SEF equipment. Does the job. The BR-14 Adjudicator. An accurate armor-piercing rifle, the Adjudicator delivers righteous judgment to medium-sized enemies, though its restrictive magazine limits its effectiveness against large groups. It does 90 damage and has a 30 capacity. The Adjudicator competes with the Liberator as the big boy of medium penetrating. It has an advantage in damage and in scope. I think it has a better scope than the Penetrator, to be perfectly honest with you. The Penetrator scope's not bad. I just prefer the Adjudicator, but it's hindered by a lower mag count. Both have medium armor penetrating stats. I tend to actually use the Adjudicator more against bots than I do against Terminates. It's still good against Terminates. It still has the same advantages of the Penetrator, like Hive Guardians and Alpha Commanders, that type of thing. But against bots, it seems to be able to one or two shot those heavier enemies, not the Hulk Bruisers. It does not two shot Hulk Bruisers. I did not say that. It does that to Devastators. It does a little bit of damage to the tanks if you shoot their vents, but not enough, to be honest with you, to kill it. That doesn't justify it at all. But the Adjudicator, along with having the coolest bio out of any of the guns, it's a solid option against any enemy group. You can definitely see the restrictive magazine size though. It really hinders it against the Penetrator as like I said, being the big boy of the medium penetrating ARs. For the Adjudicator, there's definitely an argument to put it in badass with the Penetrator, but the magazine size just takes it down a notch for me. So I've put it in Helldivers certified above the regular Liberator. I think it prefers that spot. The R2124 Constitution. I have never had more fun than using this rifle in the forests of Vietnam against the Illuminate. This ceremonial rifle is modelled after unique relics from pre-democratic times, traditionally gifted to every citizen upon turning 16 to encourage service. It does 180 damage per shot, it has 5 bullets, and it's bullet fed. You have to reload bullet by bullet by bullet. There's no strip magazines for an empty gun. It has medium armor penetrating rounds with an affixed bayonet. This is every super citizen's birthright to own, alright? This is the rite of passage, baby. You have to take this into a mission on Super Helldive and using no stratagems, no grenades, nothing, no secondary, just this. It's bayonet and its shooting ability. Damn, you need to complete that operation with this gun, alright? With the bayonet does mega damage on a melee, alright? Absolutely brilliant. The iron sights, oh, don't even get me started. The iron sights are amazing. You can see everything. I don't think I missed a shot with this the whole time. Don't look at the gameplay. I don't think I missed a shot with this the whole time. Whenever you're hip firing, well, over the shoulder firing, it's so accurate. And I'll tell you what, it takes out those tripod guys in one shot. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, the Constitution. What a gun. Like, I recorded the footage for this ages ago. It's bolt action as well, I forgot to mention. So it just gets that coolness factor as well, you know what I mean? So for ranking sake, it has to go in Democratic Wet Dream. It would go in La Liberty Y. The R63 Diligence. This high caliber marksman rifle trades magazine size and rate of fire for powerful, accurate shots. Wouldn't it be nice if that was true? It does 165 damage, has 20 in a mag, and has light armor penetrating rounds. It's not great. I'm not going to carry the same excitement for this one as I did for the Constitution, because the Constitution's such a great gun. Nor am I going to carry this weapon anyway. It gets outclassed by its older brother in literally every single aspect. Alright, it's the one after this. But it gets outclassed in everything by a gun that should be the exact same, just with medium armor penetration, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not powerful, like it says. It's not. It has light armor pen, which for a marksman rifle, I think is a bit of a joke. It should at least have medium. That's my buff for it. It should have medium armor pen, in my opinion. It's alright for robots. It's good for accurate shots, like taking out Devastator's weak spots, like their face. It's still 3 shots them, I think. 2 shot, 3 shot, depending on your accuracy, of course. Your Berserker, I think it 5 shots them if you shoot their core. Takes them out. Wouldn't bother using it against a Hulk. Wouldn't bother using it against most things, to be honest with you. It's alright against Illumina. It's decent against bugs. It's not awful. It's not great, but yeah. It does have a couple saving graces. I like the scope. Scope's alright. It's not bad. It's good at range, which is very nice. It's always good to have a bit of range in your arsenal, but I took it on against robots in the gameplay, and it can't even take out Striders, man. But it does have that accurate scope, so you can take out the super Helldive Striders by shooting the rockets on its side. It doesn't do damage to tanks either by shooting it in the vents. But like I said, its saving graces are its scope, and the fact it has 8 mags. It's also very nice. For this thing, I've slated it enough. I'm going to join with a concussive and put in the SEAF subpar. The older brother, the R63CS Diligence Counter Sniper. A modified Diligence, offering increased damage at the cost of some maneuverability. Fires a single bullet at a time, does 200 damage, 15 in a mag, medium armor penetrating rounds. Now this is how you do a marksman rifle. Take notes. First of all, I didn't notice any mobility issues while I was testing this gun. I took it in the automatons to give it a fair test against its weak, puny little brother, and this thing came out on top in every single aspect except ammo count. It 2 shots Devastators if you shoot them in the face. You're able to do damage to a lot of the weak spots that the regular Diligence just can't do. For example, shooting Striders in its lower half. If you didn't know that, by the way, the lower half of the Strider, where its legs are connected, like its hips, I suppose you could call them, that is a weaker armor. That is medium armor rather than the heavy armor that's on top. Shoot that with your medium armor penetrating, you'll take it down at about 3-4 shots. The Diligence Counter Sniper is just amazing. I love the scope, I love the ammo count. Well, I don't love the ammo count, I'll be honest. That's the one bit that I would improve about it. But everything else, the fire rate's fine, the maneuverability's fine. It says there's maneuverability issues, I didn't see them. But yeah, I'd recommend picking this over its younger brother every single day of the week. Right, I've took the piss out of the Diligence quite a bit, but I'm going to take the piss out of the Diligence Counter Sniper a little bit here. The ammo count, it's not great. It's not great at all. It's only got 6 mags, 15 bullets in a mag. Ammo count isn't great for that reason. It drags it down a notch for me. But it is a great marksman rifle, probably the best long range weapon we have at the minute, to be perfectly honest with you. But just for ammo, the Plas 39 Accelerator Rifle, a high precision burst fire plasma rifle that must be charged to fire. 350 damage per shot, capacity of 9 per mag. That's only 3 bursts from a sniper rifle. Medium armor penetration and explosive. Let me tell you something about the explosive. The blast radius is about 2 meters. It's not even... It's not good. It's not good at all. Medium armor pen is also up for debate. I swear to God, it doesn't do any damage to any armor whatsoever. This thing, you're reloading it a lot, and I mean a lot. You're running out of mags very quickly. I took it in against the Illumina because the Illumina are probably the easiest enemy type at the minute, and I didn't want to be running around with it. It's better as a baseball bat, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a sniper rifle, which has damage drop-off. Not many of the guns in the game have damage drop-off, and they decided to give the sniper rifle some major damage drop-off, which is absolutely fantastic. What a crap gun. It's not even memeable. I can't even put it at the top, like with the Constitution. It's not memeable. So, yeah, I think you can guess. Like, right, the mag size is 9, yeah. Has 3 bursts. I've been over that. It does have 8 mags. That is its only saving grace, but you go through those 8 mags so quick. Genuinely so quick. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put this one in Liberty. Why? The STA-11 SMG. A submachine gun with helical feed magazine which gives the weapon a higher ammo capacity while making it more front heavy. Produced by Stahl Arms, it does 65 damage a shot, 48 in a mag, light armor pen, and one-handed. The first one-handed weapon to actually appear on this list, so it is. But first of all, a huge thank you to Stahl Arms. This is the most fun I've had of any gun on this list. I mean, genuinely, I took it in against the bugs, as you'll see from the gameplay. And at times, see, when you go in first person, there's sometimes it feels like you're in one of those arcade machines. You know, like in the arcade, you sit in like a little booth with a gun, and there's just tons of stuff flying at the camera, and you're just aiming everywhere trying to shoot it. Against the bugs, that is exactly how this thing feels. Everything's flying at you, you're just shooting it down. So in terms of fun, I would highly recommend going into a super hell dive with this thing against bugs and just seeing the little ones just diving at you. You just take them out while they're in the air. Same with the shriekers, you can just absolutely shred through them. As I said, it's one-handed, so you can carry an egg or whatever with it while you're shooting. You do burn through the ammo. I mean, you burn through the ammo, so you have to keep an eye on it. Not only just the ammo in a mag, but also the total mag count. You absolutely shred through that ammo, so it's probably good to have a high damage in secondary as well with you. But be highly mobile with this thing. You jump about, you just gun things down. So much fun, just brilliant, absolutely. As much as I love this gun, I died a lot with it, and I mean a lot, because I was running out of ammo all the time. So it's not the most practical, but it is fun, let me tell you. So that's why I'm going to put this one in Helldivers certified. The SMG 32 Reprimand. Identity Crisis, the gun. A heavy-duty submachine gun that fires large caliber rounds with a slower rate of fire to manage high recoil, ideal for those close to medium range. It does 125 damage per shot, 25 per mag, and has medium armor penetration. I use this against the robots. Let me tell you, I absolutely love this gun. There's a lot wrong with it, but I absolutely love it. I put this thing in single fire. It's not one-handed like the other SMGs in this list, so you can't carry things and shoot while doing that, and reload as well. It's two-handed, so you have to keep two hands on the gun at all times. The medium armor pen is absolutely great for taking out anything. Absolutely anything. I would not fire this thing in full auto. Don't do it. Don't do it. It is so inaccurate, so crazily inaccurate in full auto. And I mean, like, it's not, oh, you're bad at the game inaccurate. I mean, the gun does not shoot where it is aiming. Alright, there's a lot of people say the same thing. It does not shoot where you aim it in full auto. Semi-auto and burst, that doesn't seem to be as much as a problem. I put it in semi-auto and pull the trigger as fast as I can. Does the job fine. Yeah, it's very good against the robots. It's very good against the more medium armor terminids to shoot off their heads, just like the Liberators. It's very good for that. I would more call this an AR than an SMG, to be perfectly honest with you, but it's a very good gun if you can wield it. Another upshot to the gun is actually the mag size. Not the mag size, but the mag count, sorry. You get 9 mags with the gun. And you don't tend to blast through ammo quite as quick with this SMG compared to the others because of the reasons mentioned. It's more of an AR than anything else, and you're putting it in single fire most of the time anyway. Well, I am. But if you aim for the weak spots with this thing, chances are you won't hit them if it's in full auto. But if you aim for it in semi-auto and burst, you'll hit them, and just like the DMRs, or sorry, the marksman rifles, to be honest with you. You can 2 or 3 shot Devastator heads. You can take off the heads of Terminids. I already said that one. But Illumina as well against the Overseers and the Watchers. It's very, very good for taking them out if you hit their weak spots because of the medium armor penetration. I'll be honest with you, medium armor penetration on any gun is brilliant in this game because it is the majority of the enemies are medium or low armored. It's the big armoured ones that you have to worry about, but for them you'd normally bring in stratagems to take them out, so it doesn't really matter if you don't have a heavy armour penetrating gun. It's always nice to have, but if you don't have one, then yeah, it's not the best. I'll be honest, this one's more of a personal preference, but it's my list, so you can actually do one. I also love the design of the gun. I'm going to be putting this one in badass, so yeah, you can debate that in the comments. The SMG-37 Defender, a high-caliber SMG which can be fired with one hand and has a relatively low rate of fire. It has 75 damage per shot with a 45 capacity. It's another versatile one-handed gun. I'll be honest, I didn't have as much fun with this one as I did the STA, but it's still a solid gun. With a slower fire rate, it makes it much easier to hit your shots and to conserve your shots. With a lower mag size, to compared to the STA, you really don't feel it. It makes it it actually feels like it has more bullets. It's down to the fire rate and only the fire rate, to be honest with you. Its solid recoil pattern is very, very easy to control. I brought this in against the bugs, and let me tell you, this thing is an absolute terror against the small bugs. Like, this is the bane of the small bug's existence. I mean, the bane of it absolutely destroys them. The Hive Guardians, the armoured ones, you have to get around the back because it is a light armour penetrating SMG. You have to wrap around the back of the armoured Hive Guardians and shoot them in their softer spot. The Alpha Commanders, you're able to take off their head with this thing. If you shoot it enough, it's not too bad at doing it, as long as you hit your shots, of course. But apart from that, this gun, it's nothing special. It's good. It's a good all-rounder. It's like the Liberator in that regard. It's a very good all-rounder. And for that reason, I'm going to put it with Liberator and Helldivers certified. Not gonna lie to you, lads, I had a stupid gimmick planned involving a coin where it's going to say heads or tails and flip it and then just say it was heads and then told you that you had tails and tell you to subscribe. But yeah, no, I'm not going to do that gimmick anymore. Stupid gimmick. Basically, you've made it halfway through my first video, which is 40 minutes long. What other YouTuber do you know starts their career with a 40-minute video? And I have no idea how to edit. Like, I am learning on the job here. I'm cutting this up the best I can. I'm doing transitions, whatever. I already really appreciate you guys for getting halfway through the video. I really appreciate that so much. One thing I would appreciate even more, if it's too much to ask, you can comment about it. That's a way to get you to comment. But if it's too much to ask, I would really double appreciate it if you could subscribe and maybe like the video. Like I said, I'm a very, very, very small content creator right now. I have a welcome video, and that's it. And I've tried to make a big long form video of a tier list, which I did not know was this much work. I have been working like 2 days straight on this, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean 2 days straight. So yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you could like the video, subscribe it, share it with your family, group chat, whatever you want to do. But yeah, if you don't, I'm gonna toss you off the cliff like in the gameplay here. Anyway, yeah, get back to the video. Cheers. The SG8 Punisher, a powerful dual magazine pump action shotgun with limited armor penetration, ideal for small, fast targets. Damage 405 if all pellets land, a capacity of 16 bullets, reloads from both sides. It is it's light armor penetrating rounds, and it has round reload, so you're reloading shell by shell by shell. There's no magazine attached to this thing. The SJ8 is a powerful addition to any build. It combines the damage of a marksman rifle, if only at a short range, with the knockback of the Liberator concussive. So the main problem I had with the Liberator concussive is that it didn't do enough damage to actually kill, but it was great for crowd control. The SG8 Punisher is excellent for crowd control. You can just pop any enemies that are in front of you. It knocks them back. It has the possibility of killing as well. It is very good damage if you land all the pellets. And as it says, against smaller, fast-moving targets, definitely one-shots most of the small units like bugs and the chaff units. All around, just a great shotgun. The pump is very quick, so there's no waiting about for it. Your very high damage and is able to take off the bug heads of the Hive Guardians and Alpha Commanders. It does solid damage against chargers as well. If you shoot its weak spots, solid damage if you hit the weak spot because the multiple bullets. So 405. If you didn't know, squishy parts on bugs do 10% damage if you don't have explosive damage or an explosive weapon. So if all pellets land, you're doing 40 damage roughly. With the SG8 Punisher, that's a lot better than most SMGs and ARs do to actually the squishy parts of bugs. So yeah, it's a solid weapon. The Punisher's 16 round mag also comes into effect. It doesn't feel like a 16. It actually feels like it has a lot more bullets. You rarely run out of ammo whenever you're facing the bugs, or facing enemies of any type, to be honest with you. So you're reloading very few times, and whenever you do reload, it's actually a round reload. And the round reload is actually quite quick as well, so you get the job done for reloading quite quickly. You get 60 bullets for this thing as well, which is also excellent. As for placement, of the Punisher. I think it's better than the Penetrator. I think it's better than any gun underneath the Penetrator. So I thought I'd put it at the top of badass. Moving on to the SG-8S Slugger, a modified Punisher shotgun firing heavy, high damage slug rounds, perfect for punching big holes in big targets. Does 250 damage per shot, 16 rounds per mag, and has medium armor penetration. It is also a rounds reload type gun. This gun has a similar effect as the Penetrator does to the regular Liberator. It trades all-out damage for medium armor penetration, making it an excellent option against automatons. As you know, automatons, as previously mentioned, if you watched the video and didn't just skip to this part, automatons are mostly medium armor type enemies. So it's almost infallible to have this weapon in your loadout against them. It has a very good scope. It's got a very good fire rate, same as the Punisher, and same ammo count as the Punisher as well. The main drawback of this gun, there is none, to be honest with you. It's just a great gun. But yeah, it does good damage against medium armor enemies. It's very similar to the Punisher in terms of firing stats. It feels very, very similar, but you know I'm a big fan of that medium armor penetration. It just makes a gun so much better. It doesn't have pellet spread because it doesn't fire buckshot. It fires slug, so you have to be accurate. You have to treat this almost as if it's a DMR or marksman rifle, to be perfectly honest with you. You just have to be accurate with your shots and make sure you hit them. 2 shots Berserker's heads, 2 shots Devastator's heads. It does decent damage to the backs of Hulks as well. So in terms of placement, it's a very similar gun to the Punisher, to be perfectly honest with you. I know it's different in terms of slug round compared to buckshot, but I can't really separate the two, so I'm going to put them together, but I am going to put the Slugger higher. The SG-20 Halt, a humane compliance weapon with 2 separate magazines, one for armor penetrating fletchet rounds and one for stun rounds. 385 damage, 16 capacity, that's 8 bullets per ammo type, which is selectable. Light armor pen on the stun rounds and medium armor pen on the fletchet rounds. Probably the most slept on gun in the game, to be perfectly honest with you. The Halt is an excellent option for all enemy types. The versatility to swap between ammo types for different situations is honestly amazing, and they really work hand in hand with each other. For example, in the clips, you'll see me using the stun rounds to stun different types of enemies. Like even a Hulk Bruiser at one point, I shot them in the weak point, stunned them, stopped them from turning around, switched to the fletchet rounds, and took out the Hulk Bruiser quite easily. It absolutely minces Devastators. You shoot them once with a stun, switch ammo type to the fletchet, and you absolutely destroy them. It's got a very tight pellet spread as well. It's great for that. It's very accurate with its shots. The scope's very good, so it is all round great gun in my opinion. It's, like I said, definitely one of the most slept on guns. I would highly recommend this gun to anyone who'll just pick up and play with it. It does great damage and it can really get you out of sticky situations with its stun rounds. The only downside is obviously the select fire. You do have to select it automatically. It's not a case of one shot's fletchet, one shot stun, but in its own way that's also a good thing. If you only want fletchet, you can go in. If you only want stun, you can go in. They work off the same ammo pool, so it has 60 bullets, for example. The reload works, it's rounds reload, but it works off one ammo pool, so the bullet will change depending on which one you have loaded. So if you have 60 and you reload 3 stun rounds, you'll also lose 3 fletchet rounds. So with the Halt, its major advantage is actually just its versatility. It's so great for every situation, to be honest with you. It's just amazing. It's an absolutely great gun, and it's majorly slept on. So for me, the Halt is actually a fairly easy one. I slotted this into Democracy Wet Dream. Absolutely amazing gun. I tried to put up with the Constitution, didn't work. The SG-225 Breaker, a fully automatic shotgun with high rate of fire, excellent for controlling crowds, requires frequent reloading. Isn't that the truth? This thing has a damage of 330 if every single pellet lands, which is very unlikely. It has a 16 capacity and light armor penetrating. The Breaker's primary use will be for small targets that are fast moving, as well as what it says, crowd control. It has a 16 round mag, just like the Punisher, but it feels way too shallow for this fully auto shotgun. It seems to run out of ammo extremely quickly, as it says in the bio, but does have 7 mags to make up for it. I actually don't think the 7 mags is enough. You'll find you'll run out of ammo completely very quickly with this thing. A lot of the time it can leave you in an awkward situation, to be perfectly honest with you. Not to say I had a lot of fun with this gun. It is extremely fun for taking out the small enemies. But it is absolutely abysmal for anything over a small bug. Like, as soon as you get the Hive Guardians and Alpha Commanders, you spend a mag killing one of them, and it doesn't even penetrate light armor either. So those ones that hunker down, like I said earlier, right in front of you, you can't damage them. It just deflects off them, so you have to shoot around the back of them. So for the Breaker, I think it needs a damage upgrade or even armor penetration upgrade before even an ammo upgrade, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm actually going to put this one in subpar SEAF equipment, I think. The SG225 SP Breaker Spray and Pray. What a mouthful. A modified breaker shotgun firing birdshot, small pellets which saturate an area to clear up smaller targets. Damage of 240 if all pellets land, a capacity of 26. This light armor penetrating breaker spray and pray is a direct upgrade to the regular breaker with everything except remaining full auto. But the burst you can basically treat as full auto with some well-timed trigger pulls anyway. The spray and pray is even better for crowd control as it uses a duckbill choke, meaning the bullet spread will be more horizontal than vertical. This gun is absolutely excellent at crowd control. It's probably the best at killing crowds of Illuminate that are chasing you, as you'll see from the video footage. Another interesting thing about this gun, it is absolutely amazing at destroying the walker shields of the Illuminate. It's brilliant for it. So for this gun, it's very good, but it's not amazing. So I'm going to put it at the bottom of Helldiver Certified. The SG225 IE Breaker Incendiary. Another mouthful. Joyous day. A modified breaker shotgun firing incendiary rounds generates heat during use, so is limited to burst fire. This thing is nowhere near as hot as your mum, but damn, it gets there close. Like, it does 240 damage, has a capacity of 25. To be honest, this is the exact same as the spray and pray, but with fire. That being said, this gun is much, much better than the basic spray and pray. In my opinion, it's the best version of the breaker shotgun. Everything about the spray and pray that I said is better than the regular breaker still applies to the incendiary, but has the added bonus of doing damage over time with fire. The fire effect is actually one of the most powerful effects that the Helldivers can put on enemy units. It absolutely destroys smaller bug units just with the regular shot. It doesn't actually need the fire for that. It does very, very good damage against chargers, does very good damage against Bile Titans if you hit your shots on them to light them up. It does very good damage against the Monarch whenever it dips its head down and exposes its weak spot. It's just an all-around upgrade to the spray and pray. So as we're moving up the ranks, I'm going to have to put this one in badass because the regular breaker went in Helldiver Certified. The CB9 Exploding Crossbow. Oh my god. I love this gun. This might be the only gun I like more than the Constitution, and that's saying a lot. This crossbow fires powerful exploding bolts which do maximum damage upon direct impact. Gravity must be accounted for when aiming. This thing does 620 damage whenever you get a direct hit. It has 5 in a mag, medium armor pen, explosive rounds, and it's one-handed. This thing is an absolute beast against every faction in the game. I test it against the bugs in the gameplay because I think that's their best faction, but it's just amazing at all of them. The crossbow is at its best when you rush an outpost and shoot a bolt down a bug hole or into a manufacture vent. With 5 rounds and 8 mags, that's a maximum of 40 shots, which is 40 potential closers. The blast radius is amazing. It's got that medium armor pen, which you know I love. It's one-handed, meaning you can use it while you're carrying around equipment. The only thing that hinders this weapon is that the 5 ammo count. For whatever reason, whenever I shoot this thing and run out of ammo, it always feels like I have one final shot ready to go. You might see it in the gameplay in some of the clips, but it always feels like I have a last shot to shoot, and it doesn't shoot, and a lot of the time I die because of it, I'll be honest with you. It's also extremely easy to kill yourself with this weapon, which is weird because for some of you guys that's a positive. But yeah, the exploding crossbow is just amazing at destroying groups of enemies as well in an area. Especially spewers. Whenever you see a load of spewers in a zone, you shoot the back of them, it will most likely one-shot them. Sometimes it takes 2 shots, but it will one-shot them. The need to account for gravity when shooting isn't actually a major problem with this crossbow. What I've noticed, the bullet drop isn't enough to worry about in its effective range. What I mean by that is you won't be using this for extremely long range. You'll be using it for medium to medium long range. You won't be using it for close range, obviously, because you'll probably kill yourself. But for closing up bug holes and destroying outposts, this gun is second to none. It is absolutely amazing at what it does. It is one of only 2 guns that can actually do that, or one of only 2 primaries, that can actually close up bug holes, making it extremely versatile and quite unique to the primary class. The other one is the Eruptor, which follows. With the amount of pros, I can't see any reason not to put this in Democrat's wet dream, so it slots in easily. The R36 Eruptor. This bolt-action rifle fires jet-assisted rounds that explode shrapnel in all directions upon impact. Not recommended for close quarters use. With a damage of 455 and a capacity of 5, this medium armor penetrating explosive weapon, it's better than the sniper, which is extremely sad. It's better than the actual labelled sniper in this game. At being a sniper. The Eruptor is also an extremely versatile weapon, but comes across as a lame knockoff of the crossbow. With the ability to destroy spawners, which is while also being an effective crowd control weapon, this does everything the crossbow does. So, why Nellens, you may ask? Why is this worse than the crossbow? This thing is slow. Slow to turn, slow to shoot, slow to reload. It's extremely unwieldy. So while being a solid option if you don't have the crossbow outdoes this gun in every fashion except for range. You don't have to worry about gravity when shooting this weapon, which is always decent, but you didn't really have to worry about gravity in the crossbow either. But for what it does, this weapon is extremely good as long as you can deal with the really slow turning, really slow reloading, really slow re-racking. It does very, very good damage against the bots. Still doesn't do damage against the Hulk Bruiser unless you shoot it in the back, but that explosive damage means you can take out their turrets in their encampments. It also means you can destroy their rockets off the Devastator's backs, which is always very nice. You can destroy their main threat. The shrapnel is excellent for dealing with small patrols. Like if you see a patrol of small automatons, if you shoot right in the middle of that, chances are you'll wipe out the whole patrol and you won't have to worry about any bot drops coming in. It's very good at destroying striders as well. So for the Eruptor, it's very good. It is very good, but it gets outclassed by the crossbow in almost every fashion. So I decided to put this one up in Helldivers Certified. The SG-8 Punisher Plasma, a modified Punisher shotgun that fires exploding plasma rounds. Fire carefully, exploding plasma can injure teammates. The damage of this weapon is 250 per shot, that's with a direct hit. There's 10 in a mag and it's medium armor penetrating and it shoots explosive orbs. For me, this weapon is an extremely mixed bag. This was probably the hardest weapon to rank for me. It does good damage, but it feels like it should do more. It seems like it should be hard to hit flying overseers and fast enemies, but it's not. It's fairly easy. But one thing I can settle on this, I hate that it lobs a projectile. Like, it lobs it like it's a grenade. It doesn't act like a bullet. It feels like as if I'm throwing a grenade downrange. That being said, the explosive damage this does it justifies feeling like a grenade, to be perfectly honest. If the fact that it stuns enemies very easily with every single shot counteracts that feeling for me. It's an amazing crowd control weapon for that purpose. It stuns enemies very easily, and walking overseers, it destroys them if you shoot at the ground next to them because they just get stunned by every single shot. So you just have to keep shooting in the direction that they're getting stunned. With flying enemies, like I said, it feels like it should be hard to hit flying enemies, but once you get used to how fast the projectile moves, it actually becomes fairly easy to hit them at closer ranges. It's not great for medium ranges, but the blast radius of the plasma, it doesn't seem like it's close enough to actually be a main threat to you, the user, but it definitely can kill teammates. Not on purpose, of course. So for those reasons, I'm gonna put the Plasma Punisher. I've flirted with the idea of putting in subpar SEF, but I've decided on Helldivers Certified. The Arc 12 Blitzer. This shotgun blasts a wide burst of high voltage electricity that arcs between all units, enemy or otherwise, within range. Dealing 250 damage per shot, having infinite ammo but with a slow shot, this medium armor piercing shotgun. The Arc 12 may just be the best weapon in the game in terms of crowd control, not only damaging multiple units at one time but also holding back those units as well. If you hit unarmored parts of the enemies, you're in for a real treat. A lot of the time it will just genuinely explode them. This thing has infinite ammo with a slow fire rate, but it's worth the wait to shoot. It does have a couple drawbacks I want to mention. For number one, I feel like enemies can slip through the cracks of the shots sometimes. Like, I'll be shooting at a single enemy in front of me, and my gun just straight up refuses to hit them. And for a weapon that locks onto things, that should not happen. But, like, I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes it just bugs. They just, like, enemies, they just snuck through the lightning and hit me anyway, for whatever reason. Number two, the range is pretty abysmal, to be honest with you. It also shoots onto dead enemies sometimes, I've noticed as well. Like, there's, in the clip, sometimes there's a charger in front of me and it just starts shooting at the charger instead of the enemies in front. But the range isn't great. It makes it that combined with the slow fire rate makes it very difficult to deal with shriekers at times. And this is just against the bugs. So shriekers can be a real problem for this weapon to deal with. And three is something I learnt while I was using this. I don't know if it's all arc damage, like the arc thrower as well, but you can't damage bug eggs for some reason. Like, you know the objective where you destroy bug eggs and you need to either use a grenade or a secondary for this? Because the blitzer can't shoot them. It doesn't do damage to them for some reason. You can aim at them all you want, but it doesn't actually do damage. Now, the blitzer, I know it is absolutely beloved by the community. Like, it is genuinely, like, talked about like Jesus. But for the reasons mentioned, I can't actually put it in Democrat's wet dream. Just using it, for me, I'm going to slot it into badass, but yeah, it's not all that for me. The Las 5 Scythe. A laser rifle firing a continuous beam that doesn't need reloading, but if overheats needs a new heat sink. The damage per second is 350, which is cap, to say the least, but the fire limit is 8 seconds, so that's a lot of damage per second in 8 seconds, if that makes sense. It's light armor penetrating and it's a beam. It also overheats, as mentioned, if shot for over that 8 seconds. The confusion I felt when I dropped in, thinking I was going to be reviewing the sickle, thinking, damn, they really nerfed the sickle. Like, they nerfed this thing. To then realize I'm a dumbass. This is the scythe. That confusion was honestly immeasurable. But there's nothing wrong with the scythe. It's not a bad gun, but I feel at times it can be hard to keep track of the heat of your weapon. And this one in particular is there's like one heat weapon I really just cannot keep track of. It cools fairly quick though, which is always nice. It's easy to track enemies because it's a laser, so you're flying overseers. They're very easy to track with this weapon. Even whenever you're aiming over your shoulder, rather than down the scope. One thing though that I think is a bit of a problem, it's light armor penetrating. And whenever I shoot unarmored illuminate chaff, like the voteless, why am I getting a deflector symbol? Why am I getting a deflector symbol? Like, whenever I shoot, I feel like it's a glitch, but I'm getting deflection symbols whenever I'm shooting at unarmored enemies, even though it's light armor penetrating, which is very strange. But the scythe, it takes a full heat sink to take down an illuminate ship shield. You know, like the camps. The ships that are parked, it takes a full heat sink to destroy that. So it's just a weapon that exists. I'm not a big fan of laser weapons as it is, so I'm just going to be popping this one in Helldiver certified. The Las 16 sickle. A laser rifle firing in short bursts does not need reloading, but if the heat sink overheats, it needs to be refitted. Jesus Christ, I messed that one up. If the heat sink overheats, it needs to be... If this gun overheats, a new heatsink must be fitted. I'm keeping this in. It does 55 damage per shot, has a fire limit of 7 seconds. There is genuinely no recoil to this gun whatsoever, and it's frankly disgusting. If you want a weapon that genuinely shreds everything except heavy armored units, the sickle is for you. Even though this weapon has a 7-second fire time, I feel like it's much easier to keep track of and way harder to overheat than the scythe. I don't know why, but it just feels that way. When it comes to the sickle, you get the 3 heat sinks, but it's very hard to overheat. Whenever you pick up an ammo pack, though, it refills all 3 heat sinks, not just one, which is incredibly useful. The scope's very good. Like I said, there's no recoil, so it's very easy to hit your shots on the weak points of enemies. The sickle, it's just amazing. And I know I said I'm not a big fan of, well, I said flam, but I'm not a big fan of laser weapons. But, well, it's impossible to hit this gun. It's extremely good. It's great damage, great fire rate, great recoil. You know what? Forget Democrat's wet dream. This gun is my wet dream. Plasma Scorcher. A plasma rifle firing a bolt of superheated gas which explodes on impact. Avoid standing in proximity to the blast. 200 damage per shot, 20 in a mag, medium armor pen, and it's explosive. The Plasma Scorcher is an impressive energy-based AR which can inflict some major damage on bots in particular. It's extremely accurate, again making it very useful for those headshots on the susceptible bots, but also great for clearing out bot chaff units because it's an explosive weapon. Despite being very good at engaging general enemies, it does have a couple drawbacks. The Scorcher's 20 bullet ammo count is not good enough for me to support its decent fire rate. That coupled with only 5 mags, it drags it quite far down for me. That being said, I do think the Scorcher is a very, very good weapon in a vacuum. So without these drawbacks, which is just ammo count, it's extremely good per shot. It could lead to some good moments, especially with it being explosive. It's also, for an explosive weapon, it is probably the explosive weapon I killed myself the least with on the battlefield. The explosive damage doesn't seem to do as much as others to the player firing it if in a close proximity. I would not recommend taking on a factory strider with this thing. It doesn't end well. You need a lot of shots to take out the miniguns even at the front, which is what I was aiming for. But it takes out striders well by shooting the rockets. If it doesn't get through the front armor panel, which it was kind of strange. It's explosive and medium armor pen. It should get through that bottom panel, but it doesn't for some reason. For the reasons mentioned, I'm going to put it in Helldivers Certified. It could definitely go higher, but for me, Helldivers Certified seems fair. The Jar 5 Dominator. Firing jet-propelled rounds, the Dominator trades fire rate and magazine capacity for increased damage per projectile, dealing 275 damage per projectile. 15 capacity and medium armor pen. This thing packs a heavier punch than your dad coming home from the bar. The Jar 5 is a great damage dealer and can make light work of most enemy types, provided you hit your shots. With a high damage of the Jar 5, this thing has mega recoil if fired in burst mode or even in semi-auto if you're firing quick. Makes it extremely hard to control and get used to, especially when firing over your shoulder. And just to make it worse, it also acts as a 2-in-1 deal in first person, doubling as a smoke grenade every time you shoot your weapon, blinding you momentarily and making it very easy to lose track of your target and land those follow-up shots. That combined with the fact that it's hard to hit your follow-up shots anyway because of the recoil, it makes this thing very difficult to use, especially or even in first person. One thing I will mention against the Illuminate, it destroys a Harvester's shield in half a mag and has the ability to destroy the Harvester in a full mag, provided you shoot its weak spot, which is its leg joints. It's not the best for the chaff units because it's slow fire rate, but basically I can't put this thing higher than Helldivers Certified, but it'll go right to the top of Helldivers Certified. And there you have it. This tier list and this video is complete. Some final comments on the unranked guns. Like I said at the start, you're welcome, I don't forget. I did forget, however, the Superstore AR goes badass. The Carbine goes into Helldivers Certified. The Tenderizer goes into badass. The fourth one, which I refuse to learn the name of, goes to subpar. The Pummeler goes to Helldivers Certified. The Purifier goes, Liberty, why? What a bad gun from my research. Jesus Christ, it's bad again. The Cookout goes Democrat's wet dream, baby. I love it, absolutely love the look of it. The flamethrower also goes Democrat's wet dream. It just looks amazing as well. Thank you so much again for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate it once again. I just want to remind you one final time, please sub, I'm begging you. No, but I appreciate it, guys, seriously. Please sub, I am begging you, like I said, and like the video. Comment what you change about the tier list. It's an opinion, but like I said, I'm going to be taking the North Korean approach to free speech and opinions, where I am just factually correct, so I don't care. But now, give me your opinions in the comments. But yeah, have a wonderful day. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.